Hi everybody, this is Jose from Purified Solutions. In this video, I'd like to show you how to install a flush kit for the MicroMax 7000. And this is the flush kit. The parts are as follows. We have the water going in through this tube, and normally we have a restrictor inside this tube that gets inserted, and I'll show you how to do that. Then this ball valve here normally stays closed. Right now it's open, so we normally want to leave it closed in this position. This is open in parallel to the tube, and when it's perpendicular to the tube, it's closed. We want to make sure that water does not go through this valve, and instead the water is forced to go to this little tube up here. When the water exits, it'll go through this check valve, which doesn't allow the water to go backwards, because this actually is connected to your drainage. Sometimes we want to also use an air gap, but that's another story. The whole point here is that the flush kit is to flush the membrane and also to help you flush the carbon filters. I will show you all that now. So you will notice that there are a few clips, safety clips, in these colettes. So this is a collet. You see the little white little piece here in this case. That's the clip. And on this side of the clip, you have the collet, which is like a little round cover that gets pressed in order for the tube to be released. So I will show you how to do that now. In other words, here you go. If I try to remove this clip from here, I'll put it here for now. And this collet gets pressed. You see how I was able to press it with my nails? I can pull out this tube because it gets released. Now, if I do not press the collet, the tube cannot come out. So you have to press the collet in order for the tube to be released, and you can pull it out. So I'm putting it back in, making sure that it fits right in, kind of clips a little bit, and now you put the safety clip in here in between the collet and the fitting, and the tube never comes out. So you see now it's secured. Okay. Most likely there will be a clip on this collet installed already. So we remove it, put it inside, and this tube will insert in here, but first you have to put the flow restrictor that I'm going to show you now about. So this is the middle filter, which is the reverse osmosis for the MicroMax 7000. Normally, this cartridge will come with the flow restrictor attached here with a piece of Scotch tape. So now you can remove that little piece of plastic. That is the flow restrictor, so do not lose it. I'm going to put the membrane cartridge on the side here. So this guy gets inserted into the tube, right? Sometimes it's very hard to fit it all the way in. So what I do is I use the base of the cartridge to push it all the way through. And if you can see, only a small tip sticks out because you cannot fit it further. That tip is basically so that you can pull it out if you need to one day. And I'll show you how you can do that for on the other one here, on the old one. But so now that the flow restrictor is inserted, now you can safely clip in the tube all the way until you can feel that it's no longer going further. And now we want to put the safety clip that we had removed before right below the collar. See that? Okay, so now this one is ready to be used, right? The way we do it is by inserting it here as well, and now you have a fully functional membrane. On the current system, let's say you want to install it there. Normally, the system does not come with a flush kit. This is something that we make. It's roughly between $25 and $30. We provide it for free when our clients are renting or leasing our systems, such as the MicroMax 7000. But if you bought the system, then you have to purchase this as an additional piece. And it's great to have it because you can extend the life of the membrane. Plus, it makes it so much easier to flush your filters. Okay, so now in order to install it on an existing system, so you have all the three filters here. This is filter 1, which is the blue sediment and carbon. This is filter 2, which is the red membrane cartridge. And this is filter 3, which is the carbon post filter. So on the back of the membrane, which is the middle one, you have a red tube. Normally it's red, maybe black. But the point is that this tube gets connected to the drain as well, which is the wastewater. So this is the rejected water. We call it the brine water. You press the collet from here. And if it has a clip, you actually have to remove it first, right? So now you see that on the tip of this tubing, there is a flow restrictor, the older one. It's okay to use this one over and over. Just make sure it's clean, it's not damaged. The tip of this, again, is more just to pull it out. So it's okay if you squeeze it, if it gets broken or something, as long as you can remove it completely. So I'm going to remove it with this little plier. You can see it here. Again, I'm just holding the tip, not the base, because that base you don't want to damage. You don't want to touch anything below that little neck. So only above it, you can do whatever you want with it. Okay. In the event that it breaks and you cannot remove it, what you can do is you can safely cut maybe 1.5 inches from the tube so that you can dispose of the insert flow restrictor, because you already probably have one. A new one from the cartridge, so it's not like you need to salvage that one unless you have nothing else. Okay, so going back to our flow restrictor that already has a brand new flow restrictor in the flush kit. Now this tube, which is the one connected to your drainage, right? You want to insert it into here, which is the check valve. Before we do that, we want to remove the safety clip. Now we insert the tubing that has nothing in it. It's just hollow, right? You want to insert it all the way in until it clicks, so to speak. Now you want to put the safety clip, if you have one. It's not really necessary. It's more for safety. That's the word, right? Safety clip. It's more just to avoid from the collet from moving or anything. But because there's water in it, most likely some pressure, and nobody's really touching this, really, it should never leak or come off. So this again goes to the drainage. This other tip is the one going to the cartridge. So now you go back to your existing system. You can insert it directly to it. And if you have a safety clip, you can put it here, but you don't have to. Okay? And that's basically it. Now we have the flush kit connected to the membrane cartridge. I rather have the flush kit connected to another fitting so that it's actually more efficient in terms of the positioning, because now this sits behind the wall normally, so you don't want this to be bent. So right now you have this fitting. This comes with the new membranes, and most likely you would have one in the old system anyway, so you can use that same fitting. And this is the way it'll look like, right? So now if I go back to replacing the membrane, for example, it's just a matter of twisting and pulling, and then you can insert. And once you insert it, you can twist righty, and now the whole thing sits behind it. So now it can be behind a wall or something, right? So it's not on the way. Okay, so let's put this on the side. Now, to actually use the flush kit, So for those of you who are used to changing the cartridge and flushing it without the flush kit, you know that you want to flush either this one or this one in this position here, the third position. In other words, if you want to flush the blue one, you have to put it where the green one goes. If you want to flush the green one, you can flush it where the green one goes. The reason why you want to flush it here without this is because the water that you'll be using to flush the cartridge, respectively, will be coming out of the holding tank. But some people don't have enough water in the holding tank, or maybe there's no water at all. So this is another reason why we like to have this flush kit. Now, with the flush kit, the way you flush the filters is using the first head, which is the blue one. So again, if you want to flush either the green cartridge or the blue cartridge, you want to flush it in the blue position, okay? So let's say now you want to flush this guy, the blue cartridge, which is the one that gets replaced more frequently. Let's say now you want to remove this and put a new one. So let's get rid of this cartridge. And I'm going to open a new one. And once we open it up, we will insert it where the blue one goes, again in the blue position. So now you twist, label has to be facing forward. You open this valve so that the water goes through the valve and into the drain, and then you open the inlet that feeds the system. So now if you don't open this, the dirty water will try to go through the restrictor here that you have, and you want to minimize that. So what you want to do is make sure that all the dirty, or rather the fines of the carbon, goes out from this cartridge into the membrane from the outside, meaning, you know, from outside of the membrane, which is basically the waste, and out into the waste. So none of that carbon will be stuck into the membrane inside. It'll go out to the waste. Let's say about a minute or two you run it. You're gonna hear the water rushing through the drainage. Once you think that is good enough, then what you can do is turn off the feed, or you can just release this guy here. Make sure you have a little bucket or some kind of a towel to catch the little bit of dripping, because this should shut off the water. But in the event that it doesn't, you know, you want to make sure that you have something to capture the water. So now let's say you want to flush the green filter. You remove the blue one, because this is where you want to flush any of these filters, basically, right? Any of these two filters. Now let's open up a new green filter, or the number 3 filter, and we want to flush it. And here it goes. So this is a new filter. We will insert it here. Twist, label should be forward. Now you can turn on the feed. This stays open, right, this valve. And all the carbon that is just loose in here will come out of this cartridge, through this cartridge, and down the drain. About a minute or two, you can close the feed valve. And now you can put this cartridge where it belongs, which will be here. So now I'm going to remove the old cartridge, and I'm going to move this cartridge that I just flushed into the position where it's supposed to go, green with green, and I can take back the blue one and put it back in. So now you have 2 flush cartridges using the flush kit. Now, in order to use the system properly, you have to make sure, don't forget, to close this valve. Now you can turn on the feed, and the water will go through this first cartridge, through the second, which is the membrane, and the drinking water will be stored in your holding tank. When you open the faucet, the little spout, the water will come out of the tank and through this third cartridge, and then through your spout. Again, remember to leave this closed at all times. Only open it when you're flushing a cartridge in the blue section, the first section. Okay, if you have any questions, you can always call us at 855-731-0111. And thank you very much for watching. This is Jose from Purified Solutions. Have a great day.